Hey fam, today we have Mr. Steve Taylor with us on KBB Talks, and he is an IFBB Pro athlete. So, how are you, sir?
I am doing well, Rahul. How are you?
I'm good, sir.
It is
So,
it is morning. It is more first thing in the morning where you are, and it's evening where I am. I just had my dinner, but
okay.
it's it's Friday morning for you, right?
Yes, sir. It's Friday morning.
Thursday evening here,
So,
which
we
is
have,
kind of strange.
yeah. Question is, when did you started career as a bodybuilder?
Well, I actually have been a guy that has been a gym person. I go to the gym most of my life, even as a young man, and but I didn't do any competitions when I was young. They only had bodybuilding. They didn't have men's physique or men's classic physique or anything like that. They just had bodybuilding. And I used to own some gyms. I owned three powerhouse gyms here in the U.S. And I wanted to be a bodybuilder and I wanted to be a competitive bodybuilder, but I just couldn't really get big enough to be a real one, a good one. And so I never did any competitions. And then as an older guy, later, many years later, they kind of came out with this new classification called men's physique.
Men's
And that
physique.
was kind of a more thinner, muscular thing and more suited to my body type. So I decided, actually, another guy at the gym talked me into doing a competition, and I didn't do my first competition until I was 57 years old. And I did my first show at 57, and I had never even seen a physique show. So I really didn't know what I was doing. I did my own diet, I did my own posing, and I got there and I got my butt beat good. I got, I think there were 17 men in the field, and I got sixth place. And
Okay.
in the amateur ranks, the top five get trophies, and everybody else goes home with nothing. So I was sixth place. I got nothing, and my original plan was just to do one show for fun, and I wasn't going to compete or anything like that. And after I got beat like that, I didn't like that. And so I decided, okay, I see how this works now. I can do better. So I went back to work, worked hard for 6 months, and I did another competition at 58.
Okay.
And I got fourth place. So I got a trophy. and so then I still wasn't satisfied. I go, okay, I got a trophy. Now I need to win a show. So I went back to work and worked another 6 months and did another show, and I won. And when I do these local shows, I do the master's class, which is the older guys. And then
Okay.
I always do the open class too, and I go against the younger guys as well.
Okay.
And so I started getting better at it. And even in the master's class at 58 years old, I was still way older than everybody else. They were all in their 40s and maybe 50 in those days. Now,
Okay.
older guys are doing it now. But back then, if you were 50, you were doing it, you were really old. And I was 57 when I started, 58, but I was still beating. I started winning, and I was beating everybody. I was winning the Masters always, and I would
Okay.
even win the Open class once in a while. Now, this isn't on a national level. This is just on a local, just right in my region. And so after I started winning all these shows, I decided, okay, I think I can do a national show. And I was just going to go there and try to not get beat too bad and try to finish as high as I could. And I did a national show. I did the national championships, and I did it in the 50-year. They had a 50-year-old class then, and I was 59 when I went to try, and I got fifth place. Well, in the master's class, you need to win to get your pro card. So
Okay.
I went to work. I went back and I worked for an entire year. I didn't do any other shows, and I just worked my ass off for a year. And I I went back to the very same show because there's not a lot of shows in the United States for 60-year-old men or 50-year-old men where you can get your pro card. And so I went back to that same show that I took 5th the year before, and I won. And I was 60. I was 60 years old when I won. I won a national championship at 60. And I actually entered the 45-year-old age group and the 50-year-old age group. And I won them both. So I beat the 45-year-old guys and the 50-year-old guys. And I was 60. And so that was really quite fun for me, because I was so much older than everybody. And honestly, it was fun because they really made kind of a big deal out of me there because I was so old. They thought, oh, wow, a 60-year-old one beat all the 45-year-olds, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. So that's how I got my pro card. It took me, I did my first show at 57 and I was terrible. And by age 60, I won a national championship and had my pro card. And and it's just been, I've been consumed by it ever since. And so I've done some pro shows, and I also get a lot of attention and a lot of, I get a lot of work that they pay me for to do photos and appearances and things like that. I've been in a couple of movies and some TV shows and stuff like that, mostly because of my age. You know, there's a lot of guys that look really good out there. You can look at Instagram and see a lot of good looking bodies, but most of them aren't as old as I am. And so that's kind of why I get the attention that I get, because I'm old. And, so every day I think they're gonna, you know, they call me regularly to do things and do photo shoots and appearances and, like I said, and TV and whatnot. And every time I do one, I always think, okay, that'll probably be it. I'm old. I'm almost 66 now. And I always think, okay, I'm gonna keep saying yes as long as they keep paying me and asking me to do things. I'm gonna say yes, because I don't know how much longer I've got, Rahul, and so I'm to squeeze every minute out of it that I can.
Okay.
So that's a long answer, but next question.
So, what is something about bodybuilding you know now that you wish you knew when you started?
Oh, I would say the most important thing that people need to realize is the nutrition. You know, you can go to the gym and you can have a pretty good physique and you can, you know, look good and feel pretty good and all of that, but you can't really get to the extreme point that I do when I do a show, or the people that do competitions, or the guys you see in the muscle magazines, or all of that. You know, we don't always walk around looking like that. We take pictures and do magazine photos and things like that, and we always do it when we're in competition condition. So if you see my Instagram page and you see all the pictures on there, I only put the pictures up when I'm, you know, you know, you get ready to do a show and I get real lean and rip, and then they spray paint me real dark, and then they glaze you up and make you shiny. And I mean, by the time they're done, you got the body of a god, and it almost doesn't look like you, if you know what I mean. So I think a lot of people see the magazines and see us and think we walk around looking like that, and we walk around looking pretty good, but not quite like that. I stay pretty lean and in pretty good condition most of the time now, so that when people call me and want me to do an appearance or do some photos or something like that, I want to be able to show up and be a professional, and I want to look like I do in the pictures. In other words, they see me on Instagram, they see my pictures, and you know, I don't want to show up and say, hey, where's the guy in the pictures? You know, I need to look like that guy. They're paying, and so I need to be the guy they thought they were hiring. So I try to stay in pretty close condition. I try to stay within about 3 weeks of being able to be in near show condition. So that's what I do with that. But it's fun, and I you know, especially in the summertime here where the weather is good, and then maybe I'm wearing a tank top or not very much clothing, and I walk around, and People say things everywhere I go. It's a lot of attention for an old man to get, and I kind of dig it, man.
Exactly,
I,
exactly.
I like it. And so that's why I'm hanging on as long as I am. People say, aren't you going to ever stop doing that? And yeah, sometime I'm going to have to stop doing that. And I'll take my, I'll slow down a little bit. I'll always go to the gym and I'll always stay in shape, but I can't stay in that extreme shape forever. But I'm going to hang on to it for as long as I can, Rahul, because unlike young people who can take some time off and come back, once I stop, it's gone. I'm not getting it back. So it's been too much fun for me to let go. So I'm just hanging on for dear life, and I'm going to make it last as long as I can.
Great, great. It's great, sir. You you have such motivation, you have such discipline and consistency. That is something playing a role in your life. That is great, sir.
Yes, consistency, uh, consistency and discipline are key. And I was talking earlier about the nutrition being the most important thing. It
Yeah.
really is, and that's the hardest thing, because people don't mind going to the gym, and people will work hard at the gym, and they're willing. But when it comes to the food, people enjoy eating, and so do I. And I have my moments when I can eat hamburgers and pizza and things like that. But that's usually when people have problem trying. I mean, everybody wants to walk around looking like that, but not everybody wants to do what you have to do to get there. And so it's one of the things I like about this is I don't care how much money you have or don't have, you can't buy a good body. There's only one way to get there. And so if it was easy, everybody would do it. So that's what I like. It's you can be poor, you can't be too poor because you got to be able to have food and go to the gym. But other than that, you rich guy, you can't just be really really rich and just pay somebody to make you look like that. There's only one way to get there, Rahul.
Okay, sir. Sir, do you have a bodybuilding coach?
I do. I have a coach, and um, I'll use a couple different people. I will use a trainer to to go through my workouts, to put me through my workouts, and I will use a coach to help me pose and practice my posing, to give me nutrition advice and supplement advice.
What does your grocery shopping look like?
Um, well, I'll tell you, I don't count calories, but I do count how much protein, they call them macros, how much protein, fat, and carbohydrate intake per day. And I have when I'm eating strictly, which is most of the time, I have a list of proteins that I can choose from. And I have a list of carbohydrates that I can choose from, and I have a list of fats that I can choose from. And what I do is I will pick from those lists. I'll pick a protein, I'll pick a carbohydrate, and I'll pick a fat, and I'll put that together for a meal. And so I kind of mix it up, and it gets old because there's not a lot of stuff to choose from on those lists. And one of the other things that we do is I eat 6 times a day. And I eat what would be referred to as controlled portions and more frequently. That will also help you stay lean, because when you feed your body so often, your body gets used to eating frequently. And so it realizes, your body says, hey, I don't need to hold on to this fat because this guy feeds me every 2 hours. Every 2.5 hours, I'm eating something. So body actually learns to let go of fat easier because it gets used to being fed. And I eat pretty lean. I don't eat a lot of fat, and I try to eat healthy fats when I do. But and as far as the grocery list, I would say most of the white meats, white fish, chicken breast, turkey breast, egg whites,
Correct.
Those are some of the main ones. I'll eat some lean beef sometimes. Hopefully not as often, but I love beef, so I eat it more than I should probably.
Okay.
But those are the kinds of things that I use for protein. For carbohydrates, brown rice, white rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, oatmeal, cream of rice, rice cakes, some pretty boring, dry, bland crap, honestly. And, you
No.
know, raw almonds or peanut butter or avocados or things like that for fat are best. And I try to stay away from bread and any kind of snacks and candies and things like that. Not much sugar. Stay away from the sugar more than the fat. And also alcohol, drinking. That's what most people have a problem with. When they ask me how do I look like that, I tell them you got to go to the gym. Okay, I can go to the gym. Well, you gotta eat pretty good. Well, okay, I think I could clean up my eating. You can't really drink. Oh, okay, I'm out. That's usually when they say, okay, I'm done. No drinking, I'm out. But it's funny. You get
Yeah.
used to whatever you force yourself to do. After you do it for a little while, you get used to it, and so it doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, I get tired of the same old food sometimes, so once in a while I throw something more tasty in there. I love hamburgers. I love to eat a cheeseburger,
Okay.
and so I get one once in a while. If you eat consistently all the time, you can throw in something fun once in a while, just not all the time.
How family support plays role in your bodybuilding?
Um, honestly, at my age, my kids are grown up. My kids are adults, and I have grandkids. I'm a grandpa, and
Okay.
but they like it. They think it's cool that I look like that. But it's been going on for a while. They get used to it, so they don't notice like other people do. They just think that's normal. And my wife, uh, because I have some of the ladies that are my age will ask me, well, wow, Steve, what does your wife think about being married to somebody that looks like you at your age? And I said, hey, my wife's been there a few times. She's not impressed. Trust me. What my wife thinks is, Steve, get up and take out the garbage, or Steve, get up and mow the lawn. I mean, I just do normal stuff, and it's just, it's no deal. It's no big deal to me. I'm honestly not necessarily impressed with myself, or I don't think I'm cool or anything like that. I'm just kind of a normal old man, and but I do appreciate my life, because I have a life that men my age don't usually get to experience. So I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for it.
Okay. So, sir, what separates a champion from a non-champion in your view?
It's 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 some of the things we've talked about. It's the discipline, it's the willpower, it's the consistency, all those things we mentioned. But if I had to wrap those all up in one summation, I would say that you just got to want it really bad. If you want it bad enough, you will do those things. And if you don't, uh, you probably won't. And it's just that simple. And, I know people that they aren't necessarily interested in bodybuilding, but they have a hobby or something that they're crazy over. And, it might not make any sense to me or you, but they love it. And
Correct.
so I understand. I mean, bodybuilding and the way I eat and all the goofy stuff that I do, my whole life revolves around it. Eating 6 times a day, that's hard. I'm either eating food, fixing food, cleaning food up, shopping for food, and getting ready for more food. And you got to work the gym in there somewhere. It's really been easier for me as an older guy because I'm retired. So I have an income without having to go to a job every day, because
Correct.
I've managed to do that over the course of my life. And I see young people I really have a lot of respect for those young people that do the competitions, because they have a job and they have to go to their job every day and still do all the things that I do. It would be so hard. And so I appreciate being able to have a life that allows me to do that. And I can pay my bills and have enough money to buy food and do what I love to do. And I have a good life because of that. I mean, I just go to the gym and worry about food. And people say it, and it's true. If you don't have anything else that you really have to worry about on a daily basis besides worrying about your food and your workout and what you look like, you can make yourself look pretty good when that's all you do. So, there's that.
Sir, motivational speaking is becoming big. What message would you hope to impart to your audience? Like,
Oh, let's see. Well, I guess maybe I've said most of that already. I appreciate uh, the fact that at my age, I'm just happy to still be relevant and be able to beat somebody at something. And I appreciate all the people. I mean, I have fans. It's weird. I have people that follow me and they tell me how inspirational I am. And I mean, it's hard for me to imagine myself as an inspiration. And people, I sometimes I walk down the street and I tell you, everybody says something, wants to talk about it, and it's kind of fun. And sometimes I'm traveling here or there, wherever, and people stop me and they want to take a picture, and they have their buddy hold the phone and take a picture while we stand there together. And it's so strange, Rahul. It's almost surreal, and it's embarrassing kind of. And I tell my wife that people stop me to take a picture, and she says, "Oh, baloney! They don't." And I said, "No, they really do." And then finally, I was so happy because we were in Pittsburgh, USA, doing a show. And
okay.
We were in the airport, and within 15 minutes, 2 different people stopped me and wanted to take pictures. And so my wife had to hold the camera and take the picture. And so I was so glad that she said, okay, see, it really does happen. But I'm just thankful that I have an opportunity to do this. And it amazes me every day that people want to pay to see a 65-year-old man take his shirt off. That's just crazy. who in their right mind want to do that? So it's life is strange, Rahul.
No, sir, you are really an inspirational, sir. Even I am too young, but every single day when I come to your page, I am so much inspired that I need to go to the gym. I need to have a good diet and build myself. If you can do, sir, why can't I?
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes, sir.
Anybody can. But
Correct.
it is hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. It is hard, and it takes a while. A lot of people get discouraged before they get there because it takes so long. And I'll tell you something else.
Yeah.
When you're trying to, gain muscle and make your physique look better, it's hard for you to see it because you go to the gym every day and you get up and you look at yourself in the mirror, and it happens so slow that you really don't see it. And then maybe you see somebody that you haven't seen for 6 months or 8 months or something like that, and then you see them and they go, "Oh, wow, you look great. I can tell you're going to the gym." And then I'll say, "Really? Wow, thank you." And that's kind of inspirational, and then that kind of keeps you going. And then after you've made some progress and made some gains, then you can see it yourself and you can say, okay, yeah, I can look at other people and I can look at myself and I can see, okay, I look pretty good. And it feels good. I like it.
Yeah. So thank you for your time, Mr. Steve. I'm achieve your goals ahead in your life. So would you like to thank anyone for helping in your career?
Well, I just want to thank everybody in general. There's too many for me to single out and start naming names, and I don't want to bore your audience. But yeah, you need support and you need help, and just, people around you for encouragement. And so, yeah, I'm thankful for the people around me. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to do this. And, I mean, we all need to stop and appreciate what we have, because it's easy to walk around upset about negative things, and you can always find something that's not going the way you want it to. But it's sometimes hard to stop and realize, hey, look at all the good things in my life. Compared to a lot of other people, we have it pretty good, brother.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Right.